Hey, video of Universe Mode. It's the Ravens take on the Steelers. It's week 2. The Ravens are 1-0. The Steelers are 0-1. They got a tie against the Seahawks. You should go check out the Seahawks game when they took on the Rams. One of the best games I've seen so far in this series. But yeah, we're gonna get right into this. Got the uniforms ready. Got all that ready. We'll check some stuff. See if they're on pro. In the playoffs, I might do all pro. Yeah, but 5 minutes, you know how it's normal. It's just so sunny out in this place. It's just sunny. Yeah, so I'm gonna unplug my mic now. Hope you guys like this video. I'll see you guys at the end of the game. Yeah, guys, hope you guys like the game.
Hello, everyone. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. Today's game features two quarterbacks who always seem to find themselves in games that come down to the wire. It's Joe Flacco going up against Ben Roethlisberger. With that, let's welcome in our fine broadcast team. Here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Two hard-hitting blue-collar franchises, one of the better rivalries going. The Ravens and Steelers are underway. This fielded at the 2. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And Pittsburgh will take the field now with a 7-5 record coming off the win over the Giants. Big Ben Roethlisberger, you see him there, 289 in that game, 2 touchdowns and an interception.
Well, weather's turning cold, isn't it? What does that usually mean? Big Ben heats up.
He comes to play.
Yeah, 3 straight wins now for Pittsburgh after a 4-game losing streak. I do believe they are tied for first place in their division now. And people are starting to fear the Steelers yet again, mainly because of Big Ben.
I like what you said, though. Weather gets colder, Big Ben heats up. Here's the first carry for Le'Veon Bell. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. And for Le'Veon Bell, 118 yards last week. Also 6 catches, 64 yards, but that's what Le'Veon Bell does.
And what were the Giants ranked against the run on defense?
Number 5.
So Le'Veon Bell just doesn't care right now, which also means that he's getting a lot of help from his offensive line. And they have the confidence that they give him any type of room, he's going to take full advantage of it, and he does. And right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is really coming into focus.
Now Roethlisberger. It's complete to Brown, right side. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
There's no doubt about it. That's just one of the best connections in the league. Big Ben throwing it to Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown has turned himself into such a player, a low-round draft pick, but you can't beat his determination or work ethic, and Big Ben welcomes that.
And Big Ben won a Super Bowl at 23, youngest ever to do so, has never looked back.
Alert! 3 down, let's go.
They go play action here on first down. Over the middle here to Brown. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this into enemy territory across the 40. A good grab there by the former Central Michigan man, Antonio Brown.
And he ate up some real estate on the catch, too, didn't he? I think the most impressive part of it, though, if there's a chance for him to get the football, even though he was covered well, he somehow finds a way to get it.
So after that big play, let's see if they can catch their defense maybe on their heels. Now a first down carry by Bell. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
I go all the way back to college with Le'Veon Bell. One of the better body transformations I've seen, from a big, thick power back to the guy we see now who can do everything.
And 2 years ago, of course, last year the injury, but 2 years ago over 1,300 yards. I think they think he can top that this year.
I don't think there's any question about it.
Now a carry for the veteran. This is D'Angelo Williams. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
It's so important to establish the running game early in a contest, because when you do that, that just opens your playbook so big for your offensive coordinator. And to be frank about it, they like calling pass plays better than they like calling running plays. And with the way that they're running it right now, that's going to open things up to do whatever they want through the air as this game goes on.
Roethlisberger going to give to Williams on the draw. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. Offensive starters time. Electric is certainly a word that comes to mind when you talk about Le'Veon Bell.
Love the way that he reshaped his body coming out of college. A bigger, thicker runner while he was at Michigan State. Lost weight, became more of a whippet in the NFL, and now no one can tackle the guy, whether he's running it.
And here comes play number 6 on this drive. On 2nd down, it's Bell. And only about a yard there as he takes it from the 9 to the 8. And for Baltimore, the defensive starters, certainly the starting 11 on D, one reason they're tied atop the AFC North.
The #1 rushing defense in the NFL. We hear about the stars all the time, the guys who rush the passer, the Terrell Suggs and, of course, Elvis Dumerville. Those guys get after the quarterback. But the reason they're the #1 rush defense, Brandon Williams, their nose tackle, rapidly becoming one of the best ones in the league. Hard to run the football when a nose tackle creates rubble in the middle of the field.
So 3rd and 7 and an extra defensive back on the field. And he's going to take it in for a Steeler touchdown. Antonio Brown, a 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Steelers take the ball down the field and score on their opening drive. Well, that's how they envisioned it, get the football to start the game and score it.
And I don't know if that was scripted. Was it an audible? Or was it just a play call that they had in their pocket? No matter what, they had the right call on against the right defense, and they end up in the end zone.
On for the point after is Randy Bullock. And he'll put it through to make it 7-0 Steelers. So that drive in total 8 plays. And the gadget play gets him into the end zone. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And here comes Baltimore on offense. And Joe Flacco, he was elite in Week 13. A franchise record 36 completions, 4 touchdown passes for Joey F.
He looked awfully sharp, didn't he? I mean, standing in the pocket, delivering, finding those targets downfield. The best part for him is that he didn't have to make that big scramble and try and slide with his knee brace. And you've seen that a couple times this year. That brace gets caught in the turf. It's not the most elegant slide, but that's not what they're paying him to play quarterback.
Now Now a carry here for Terrence West. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give them 11 yards that time and a new set of downs.
And that run was what a lot of people call an explosive run. Gave them good yardage, solid yardage. They feel good about the whole thing, and they did it behind a two tight end set. It's always interesting to watch what offenses want to do with the two tight ends. Sometimes they line them up together for a power set. Sometimes they put one on each side of the line of scrimmage to balance things out. No matter what, though, when you see two tight ends on the field, your first thought is to think run. In this case, the offense was able to run successfully.
And Steve Smith hauls it in. And he's taken down, but not before getting this across midfield and just shy of the 40.
Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I don't think you can get much more balance than this. Big-time run, big-time pass.
A 1-2 combination. Looked pretty good.
How about that? Let's see if they can continue to take that kind of a punch, though.
So after that big gain, let's see what else the offense has up its sleeve. First and 10, and Flacco looking to throw. Out to the flat, that's complete to his running back. The ball comes out, but this will get out of bounds, so possession will stay the same.
I don't know about you, but I could hear and feel the sigh of relief all the way up here in our booth.
That was palpable. The sideline, the friend there.
No doubt about it. If ball goes over the sideline, able to retain possession, no turnover. I know his coaches are screaming, just hang on to the ball, man.
So after nearly turning it over, new life here for the offense on second down. On second down, Flacco to throw. Toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete. He was trying to get it to Steve Smith that time. And that'll make it third down. If they want a first, they need to get the football to the 32 here on third down. Third down, Flacco needs a decent chunk of yardage. He's got time. Toward the sideline, did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge, and that's good enough for a first down.
This presentation of the NFL on EA Sports is brought to you by Gatorade, the sports fuel company.
Second quarter now. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis with you. It's the Ravens who have the football, and they're on the move here. They've got it 1st and 10. This is West. And not much. Maybe a yard down to the 23.
Now that's the type of play that'll fire up a defense. Hold them to 1 yard on a first down run. It'll be interesting to see if the offense decides to press the run at all or if they'll abandon it now after gaining only 1 on that play.
And here comes play number 6 on this drive. On the ground, it's West again. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21. Only a gain of a couple there. That leaves them needing about 7 here on third down.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those 3 guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5 on 3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
Flacco looks to throw. That is caught at the 7. It's a really nice 15-yard pickup, and now it's 1st and goal. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot and they connected there and picked up a first down.
Now flags come in. I think one of the Ravens got going a little early.
False start, offense. Still first down.
Now a play fake here on first down. He's going to get this one out to his fullback. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. Call it a gain of 5, and that'll bring up a 2nd and goal.
It's interesting because when I'm watching college football and I'm evaluating guys for the draft now, my list of fullbacks, pure fullbacks, it's a very short list. I'm probably evaluating more punters and kickers now than I am fullbacks, but it doesn't matter what you call the position, it's who you put there, and there we saw completion.
Flacco here on 2nd down. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up 3rd down.
Let's face it, you can run the route tree as many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things. But once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
An extra defensive back on the field here for 3rd and goal. Now Flacco. That's caught at the 1. Give him 6 on the play. And that will bring up an interesting decision here on 4th and goal.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. And Tucker's kick right there. It's good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. Well, their offense has struggled for sure, but they get the field goal here and at least get on the board before half.
And that's not something we should underestimate, because just getting points on the board can sometimes have a settling effect on a team. Helps them start their comeback.
Tucker now following the made field goal, set to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line.
Illegal block in the back. Return team. Automatic first down.
And it looks like this will likely be the last play before we hit the 2-minute warning.
Let's see if they can sneak one more good play in before the 2-minute signal.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get this one up to about his 14. And time for us to take a break here in the booth. Back to Heinz Field after this. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Larry Ridley will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action.
Watch 17, watch 17. Single. Let's go now. Blue 30. 57, come on.
Now Roethlisberger to throw on 2nd down. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
That was a classic example of trying to run with the ball without securing the catch. He was thinking about those rack yards instead of making the catch first and then taking off.
3rd down and 8 now.
Check, tight right, tight right, tight right. Solo out there, check the outs out there. Set, lose 30. 3 down.
On 3rd down, Roethlisberger. Over the middle, it's caught by Rodgers. And now the Raven defense going to call a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. On now, the Steelers' second-year punter. This is Australian-born Jordan Berry. Back deep is Devin Hester. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. It's a 44-yard punt, just 3 on the return. And the Ravens, they'll take over. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point.
The kicker.
Exactly. He's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about
toe
that.
bashed it.
Super toe.
They look to throw on 1st and 10 with Flacco. Over the middle to Smith. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the 1st down completion. And they're going to hurry back to the line now. On 2nd down, Flacco to throw. Now a hit, and Flacco drops the football. It's loose. So a fumble on 2nd down. They're able to maintain possession. Brings up 3rd. Flacco off play action. And he finds his man, Kamar Aiken. And he takes it down deep into Pittsburgh territory. A big play on 3rd for the Ravens. 49 yards. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. And we're back. The offense had a chance to talk things over. We'll see what they come up with here on this next play.
Got his left. Got his left. 3 down, 3 down.
A red zone 1st down for Flacco. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
Well, partner, the hit sure looks like a simple route, but I think the issue with it is a lot of time when you're making that play, you're actually working your way back inside towards traffic where the big guys are coming from inside out, whether it's defensive ends or linebackers. And a lot of the time, instead of securing the pass, your eyes might stray towards the middle and wonder where the big hit's going to come from.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Dennis Pitta, a 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Ravens have taken the lead.
And while that touchdown does not give them an insurmountable lead, it's still a lead, and that always feels good to a team.
They'd love to take that into the lockers, but a little time left on that clock, so some work to do.
I like that. I like how you're guarding against a letdown there.
Marty looking forward.
Coaching them up from right up here in the booth.
And it's through, and that makes the lead 10-7. The drive summary that time, 5 plays. And it's capped off by the Baltimore score. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Let's go.
They come up with one running back. That's Bell. Roethlisberger will throw. And he just gets rid of it. Throws it away. A wise move there. Looked like nobody open. Now second down. Hey, what about some division race talk while we have a second? Three really close ones. NFC South, AFC North, all log jams at the top.
I'll start with the AFC North. Baltimore and Pittsburgh both at 7-5. Baltimore holds a tiebreaker by virtue of their win over Pittsburgh. They play again on Christmas Day. How about the NFC South? Atlanta and Tampa Bay, both 7-5. They've split their season series, and Atlanta holds the tiebreaker right now with a better divisional record. These races are going down to the wire.
And welcome back. The offensive unit, they took the timeout. And now they get set to line up as we resume action. Well, they get the completed pass, but still have more to go here on third down.
Come on, Black 80.
From the gun on third down, it's Roethlisberger. Throw left side is complete to Rodgers. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a fourth down. Now hang on here. Timeout called by the defense. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. Here's Jordan Berry now as he'll kick it away for the second time. .46 on his first kick. This one in that neighborhood as well. And a fair catch signaled for and taken at about the 18-yard line. A 41-yard punt there with no return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Now Joe Flacco and the offense heading back out onto the field. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. They begin here with a run by West. Looking for a crease, can't find one. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. He's fumbled already once, Charles. I'm not going to say that that was in his mind there, but I'm sure that during some of these plays he is mindful of it.
And once you fumble the ball, you know what your team tells you and your coaching staff? Take care of it. Rest of the game. And that does get in your mind a little bit, and sometimes that slows down your effort in trying to get free from tacklers.
And the defenders know it, too. They sniff that out, don't they?
Everybody wants to swarm the football. You know what the rule is. First guy hold up the runner. Everyone else try and get there and strip the ball free.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm Larry Ridley, and welcome to our EA Halftime Report. The Steelers are in a tight game, and that's while winning the turnover battle. The Ravens have to feel somewhat lucky to still be in such a close game, considering those turnovers. So let's take a look at the highlights from the first half. Steelers now late in the first quarter. Brown's going to haul in the pass, and this play goes for a score. Steelers take the early lead. We go now late in the first. Flacco finding his mark in coverage, and it's going to end up going for a gain of 22. Ravens would settle for 3 points on the drive. Third down at the 36. The pass will be completed into coverage, and he'll be tackled at the 16-yard line. Later on the drive, tight coverage here, but the completion is made, and this 4-play drive goes for a touchdown. That puts them up by a field goal. So that'll bring our halftime report to a close. We'll go back now to Heinz Field for the start of the third quarter.
So both teams have their marching orders, and we'll get going again here in quarter number 3. On the return, the old reliable Devin Hester, the veteran. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Wide open receiver complete. And he coughed it up. And it's picked up by the Steelers. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27.
They make so many catches that are so tough, so acrobatic, so difficult that often surprises me when they actually turn the ball over. You know, when the ball actually comes free. It's amazing sometimes because of what we see them do on so many different plays.
Had the catch, but couldn't control it on the contact. And as the referee is under the hood, and we're seeing this as well, he's watching the knee, isn't he?
Similar to a bang-bang play in baseball where you're listening to the sound of the ball hitting the glove at first base while watching the runner's foot hit the base. Which one came first? Did the knee hit the ground, or did the ball come loose?
After review of the call, the ruling on the field is reversed.
They start on the ground with West. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
They'll run again here with West. And that play goes nowhere. Taken down, losing yardage at the 50, right at midfield. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
Partner, I think the easy thing now would be to just abandon the run and start throwing the football at all costs. But I've been in so many games where it doesn't work running the ball. It doesn't work running the ball. and then something pops, and now you get something going. I'm not so sure to just abandon your game plan this early in the second half.
Flacco from midfield. He's got time in the pocket. Look at the time. He's going to loft this one deep left sideline. And that is caught, but he will come down out of bounds, says the side judge, incomplete. Well, they went for all the marbles there on that long pass. He caught it, just couldn't stay in bounds.
So difficult, isn't it? Because you have so many things you're going through on that play, trying to get open, trying to catch the ball, and still get your feet down to complete the process of the play. Not successful on that attempt.
And the head coach reaches for the red flag, tosses it down on the field. He wants a challenge here.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
So the ref makes a call, no touchdown there, wipe it off the board. Tucker now to add the point after. It's good to make it 17-7. Scoring summary, 3-play drive, and it's capped off with a Ravens touchdown. Tucker now following the made field goal, set to kick it away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. Stiff-armed him. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Time for the Steelers offense now to get set for their first possession of half number 2. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
Double tight. Hey, we got 3 down.
They'll go again with Bell. And he'll take this one up close to the 25-yard line. Just a couple there on the second down run. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8 situation.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Shift.
On 3rd down, Roethlisberger. He gets it to Brown, complete. And they're able to convert on 3rd with a solid gain of 23.
I think one of the underrated aspects of Ben Roethlisberger's game is his ability to actually throw the football. We hear so much about his movement and escaping the pocket. Ben can step back there and fling it, and Antonio Brown is usually there to catch it.
We've really seen their chemistry develop, haven't we?
Yes, we have, and it's been really, really fun to watch.
And now a first down following that long gain. Now Roethlisberger on first down. Man open right side. It's Rodgers. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
Now Roethlisberger to throw, and it's incomplete. He was looking to hit his running back, Le'Veon Bell, that time. And it's 3rd and short.
Hey, right, Roger. 3 down.
They come out here in the eye. They'll try and run for it with Bell. And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42.
Everyone understood their role on that play. 3rd and 1. You know the defensive guys, they're trying to get down and get low and get leverage on the offensive lineman, but they didn't allow that to happen. They created a crease and allowed him to get through for a first down.
And a new set of downs here after picking up the first on the ground.
Watch right. Check. Black bar.
They'll throw on first down with Roethlisberger. Finding time. All kinds of time. And that's going to be incomplete. Sammy Coates, the intended target there. And that'll bring up 2nd down.
Not too many things get to a quarterback of this magnitude, but I think it's safe to say that pressure can get to any quarterback.
Now, he's obviously a great franchise quarterback, but felt the pressure, threw it incomplete. They come up in an empty set. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Again on 2nd and 10, it's Roethlisberger. Over the middle here to Brown. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height, sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
And he will have a first down at about the 21-yard line. We have played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now in Pittsburgh. It's the Steelers with the football, but trailing here as we get going in quarter number 4. Now this will be the 9th play on this drive.
Watch left. Stop right there. 3 down. Black 5. Blue 30. Check 26.
And they'll keep it on the ground with Bell. And he'll take this inside the 20 and down to the 18. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. Roethlisberger with a give to Bell. And he'll be stopped after a gain of only a couple down to the 15-yard line. The linebacker, C.J. Mosley, in on the stop.
We always like to talk about defense in terms of levels. First level defensive line, second level linebackers, third level defensive backs. On that run, that was what we call a first level run, and it was stopped by a second level player.
An extra defensive back in the game now here for 3rd and 4. Roethlisberger. And this is going to be incomplete. Antonio Brown, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up a 4th down.
I'm not sure we could spot any tendency here on this 3rd down. They could have run it or passed it. Either one was available. They chose to try and get it through the air, but they were unsuccessful.
So on fourth, the kicker in a big spot here. And Bullock will put this one through. And they're back within a touchdown. It's 17-10. All right, so you needed 2 scores to get back in the game. The field goal then maybe not exactly what they wanted, but it's a necessary first step.
Still plenty of time remaining, but you could really use a stop defensively after the kickoff, preferably a 3 and out.
After the successful field goal try, here's Boswell to send it away. Moore now on the return. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
You love pressure.
I love it.
We'll see if they dial it up this drive. Second down, Flacco now. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he showcases the spin, a pretty good gain before he's taken down. It'll be a gain of 9, and that's going to make it third down and less than a yard. He had time, was able to survey the field and find a soft spot in that zone coverage.
And that's where it gets difficult for a defender, Brandon. You go to your spots on the field that you have to cover, and when the offense finds an area that you're not in, that's where they throw the football.
Now West. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. Just a gain of a couple, but good enough to keep the drive rolling.
I always appreciate runners who understand situations. That was just 3rd and inches. No reason to dance around in the backfield and try and break off a bigger play. Just go pick up the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
And the offense here just looking to stay in bounds, complete the short passes, and put this game on ice. Time for a break. We're back to see what happens after this. So it's Raven football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Here's West. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. Now the Steelers put a stop to the action with a timeout defensively. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. So the run moves the chains, and here we go on first down. They'll run it now out of the gun. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And the Steelers signal for another timeout. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter of play. And now following that timeout, the defense back out onto the field. And after the play on the ground, that brings up second down here. So the defense flinches, contact made, and the 5-yard penalty ensues.
Encroachment, defense. Still second down.
The defense, they got a little bit of a breather. Now they're back and set as we resume play. Second down and 4. They'll run it with West. Oh, no, he lost the football. And they take possession of the football and have it at the 36-yard line. And the Ravens defense, they get ready and they trot back out onto the field. And they have been so strong all game long, they just need to show up here one final time, Charles.
And this isn't a spot where they're going to run out onto the field, look at each other and say, okay, can we hold on? They've been strong all game, as you talked about.
Yeah, you got some confidence.
Confidence. They're thinking, let's just go out there and shut them down 1, 2, 3 and get out of here. That's how they feel right now.
Hey, check.
Back to throw. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. An excellent pickup of 34 yards. And now it looks like they're going to be in the hurry-up. They'll look to throw. That is caught at the 7. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. He'll look to throw. Got his man, it's caught for a Steelers touchdown. Eli Rogers from 6 yards away. And the Steelers are an extra point away from tying this thing up.
Love the excitement we've got going here. If they just scored the touchdown, they're down by 1. How much fun is it now to figure out the possibilities? Kick the extra point and tie it. Go for 2 if they're really feeling in a gambling mood. What do you do in this situation?
I think you kick the PAT.
Yeah, I do too. Kick it, get my defense ready, and try and stop them one more time.
And we are tied here in the fourth quarter. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it ends with the Steelers finding the end zone. So here comes the kickoff now, all even here in this fourth quarter. This fielded at the 2. So quick on the spin.
He's spinning, man.
And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. They've got work to do, but they do still have a bit of time here.
And they've got to feel comfortable with that, but they have all their play sequences called. If they get out of bounds, that allows them to huddle and call another play. But if they don't, it's hurry up to the line of scrimmage and either spike it and stop the clock or continue to move it downfield in order to try and get in range and win this game.
See if they can do just that.
Don't let him breathe. Don't let him breathe. Play that tight deep. Don't let him breathe.
Flacco setting up the screen for West. Oh, a nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle him.
12 yards there as they move the chains. So just about a minute to go here, tie ball game.
As fans, we love free football. But the guys in the field don't. They're going to attack and go for the win right now.
Pressure mounting. Flacco. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. And we are back here. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. So the offense takes a timeout. And now we're set to get going.
Watch right. Watch right. Watch right. Watch the run. Watch the run.
Setting to throw. Flacco surveying the field. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game.
Let's go, D. Let's go, D.
So the offensive unit called the TO. And now we are ready to resume play. And the O-line will have to do a better job protecting here on 3rd down after that sack. They come out here in the eye. They'll run it here. This is Buck Allen. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. He's able to chew up 8 yards on the carry there, but still 4th down upcoming.
But once again, a good example of situational football. That was 3rd and very long, so you know they were guarding against the pass. And when they decided to run the ball, that was okay. Whatever yardage they picked up, as long as they didn't get to the 1st down marker, the defense was willing to concede, and they stopped them well short of a 1st down.
Here's Sam Cook now, as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. Now Brown. So 4 quarters wasn't enough, and we are off to overtime. Don't change that dial. It's a little teaching moment here. Overtime rules. Remind us how this goes, partner.
Okay, so in the past, we had sudden death. First team to score wins, but no longer. Now, if the team receives the ball, scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession. And after both teams get a possession, then we're into sudden death. First team to score wins the game.
Nothing between these two teams for 4 quarters. Here we go to begin overtime. Moore now on the return. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. And now here come the Ravens. Set for their first drive here in overtime. And this is where the crowd can really become a factor.
They've had to battle it all day, but I know what you're saying. In overtime, that gets doubled, doesn't it? At least, because now the crowd really wants to be involved and help their team. And that first drive can dictate the whole thing because they know if this team takes it downfield and scores a touchdown, it's game over.
And it's been loud in here so far. The drive begins with a handoff to West. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held him to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
First OT toss coming for Joe Flacco. Smith catches left side. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. Now a play fake here on first down. He's got time. It's caught on the right side at Smith. And he eventually goes down, but not before reaching the 30-yard line. So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown, secure the tackle. When they're moving on crossing routes, if you miss a tackle, it usually results in a big play.
So after that big play, let's see if they can catch their defense maybe on their heels. And to give this time to the tailback. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
The evaluation process in today's NFL does not take into account as much bulk as it does speed, and that's what we're seeing with the linebacker position. Those guys that can run, they can play at any spot because they can make plays on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. They'll get 4 on 2nd down, but it leaves them with 3rd and still 9 to go.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice gain like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
Fake to Allen. Here's Flacco. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
And this one is right down Broadway. And with that, they take the lead here 20-17. Tucker now following the made field goal, set to kick it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. A field goal would push it to sudden death. We just saw the field goal on the other end, but I don't think they are thinking field goal. At least not to start this drive. They're not thinking field goal.
Not at all, because your point is well taken. Yeah, kick the field goal, you push it to sudden death, but you're also kicking off and giving the other team the ball with a chance to kick a field goal and beat you. Get the touchdown, finish the game off. That has to be the mindset.
Key 26, key 26. Black 20.
First throw in overtime now for Roethlisberger. Oh, if he holds on, it's game over. Instead, second down.
Oh, man, that was close. The opportunity to change momentum, big play, right in his hands, unable to come down with it.
A sigh of relief, no doubt, on offense that fell harmlessly to the ground. Unable to connect on the first down pass play. Now it's second down. They'll come out in the pistol. Second and 10. It's Roethlisberger once more. He's got time in the pocket. Still back there. And got his man complete. And he's brought down, but not before getting across midfield to the 45.
Now that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
Single, slot. Hey, you're on an island over there. You're on an island. Start! Here we go. Black 20. Watch second.
They'll throw on first down with Roethlisberger. Goes underneath for Bell. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. Call it a pickup of 7, and that'll make this a second down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
3 yards remaining here on second down.
Watch left. They can't hang with us. Focus. He's crashing. He's checking crash.
Ben to throw again. Hayward Bay has it over the middle. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is it not? With his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing it over the middle, he can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play, but what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
No gain there on the completion, second and 10.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
Double tight. Hey. Got 3.
They come out here in the eye.
Black box.
On second down, Williams. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Pretty good running there, 9 yards. Sets up a 3rd and 1. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. So we'll take a break with them and be right back.
Yeah, guys. So, guys, the Steelers gonna get 2 ties in a row. They tied with the Seahawks. Are they about to tie with the Ravens too? I'm telling you, if they tie you again, I think they're done for the season. So you can't get 2. In real life, has a team actually ever done that? Get 2 wins and like 2 ties in like 2 weeks and the 2+ weeks. It's only 10 weeks of this series. I think they should go for it. If you really ask me, I don't know if they might go for it. They ain't. They might fake it though. I don't see them faking it. And they're calling a timeout.
Take another timeout. So
Can they get maybe a block?
into this break on EA Sports.
Or maybe can the Steelers just mess up? Or will this be a tie game and will the Ravens get the first tie of the season? And will the Steelers get the second tie of the season? Wow. Wow, I have all this stuff written down. I thought at the end, whatever the Steelers are going to lose. Steelers, they got 2 ties. Wow. They're stupid. They should go for it. It's better to go for it than go for another freaking tie. But like they don't know, like, because it is computer. They don't know they're gonna tie. And it's good. Wow, boys. The second tie of the season for the Steelers. It's only week 2. They've had 2 ties in a row against 2 bullet teams. This is just every bullet team they're gonna tie with. Let's make them face the Falcons next week. Nah, but really, I know the Steelers. They got Brown. I feel like they could maybe go for it and get it. They had better rushing yards, passing yards. Ravens had it. Takeaways, they had 1 takeaway with that fumble. No, with that. What was I don't know. But guys, that'll be the end of this video. Wow, 2 ties in a row. I just feel bad for them. Doesn't mean they will lose the division. It just means like they have a really bad chance though. Let me count that. 2 ties. Ravens have 1 win, 1 loss, 1 tie. So guys, at the end of the day though, the Steelers are 0-0-2. And the Ravens are 1-0-2. I mean 1-0-1, sorry. Well yeah guys, I hope you guys like this video. Please go slap that like button in the butt. I'm just joking, but go subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.